This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast.
Hello again. This conversation is an example of when one of us is not feeling supported and how we work through it. Enjoy.
We don't need...
Give the people what they want. Yeah, you think they want your relationship advice? They want an OnlyFans account, babe.
No.
Cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut that out. You got a fist away from the microphone?
I do. Do you? I feel like I've been really achieving quality sound on these podcasts.
Okay, so we're not starting out as combatants.
No, and
that's too close to the microphone.
But when I get quiet, I can get
microphone
closer.
Police. It's me, the microphone police.
Good morning.
Which one of our problems should we talk about today, babe?
Woohoo! Does anything come to your mind?
I mean, it's not like we're perfect, but like, no. I mean, we had a...
Yeah, I think we should talk about that.
What I want to say was a casual encounter, but that's highly inappropriate. We didn't have a conflict. We just had we had to have an open-hearted conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why don't we tell the story? Because I think that also led into, and this is what I was talking to you about the other night, the amazing sex that then we had.
Yeah.
Because of the open-hearted encounter.
Yeah.
I always tell my clients that sex isn't everything. It's just a part of everything. And, you know, there'll be sessions where they come in and they're like, I know this doesn't really have to do with our homework. And I'll look at them and I'll say, oh, yes, it does. Okay. Because especially in chosen long-term partnership, like what we engage in, things like finances, household chores, childcare, all of these types of things affect the sex that we have.
How often do you talk about finances and household chores in your like couples?
Every week. Every single one. Week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not unique. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah. I hate to like make us not special, and I think so much of it has to do with something we say on here ad nauseum, our lived childhood experiences and our comfort or discomfort in talking about certain things that were either taboo or impolite or our parents never talked about openly with us or we felt ill-prepared for. So often we can become better at talking about something, which is what I feel like you and I did over the past weekend. And it wasn't perfect, not at all. So I want to talk about that too. And we ouched each other. We did all these types of things. I don't know. And then we stumbled our way through it. And it took a lot of I talk with my clients about conscious and unconscious competence. I think I've talked about it on here. You start unconsciously incompetent with anything, right? There's so many things that I don't know how to do, and I don't know that I don't know how to do them. Then you move to conscious incompetence, which is, shucks, I don't know how to do that thing. Then we move into this place of conscious competence, where you're thinking about, oh, okay, I'm becoming competent in this thing, but I am actively working to get better. The goal, the achievement, which is what you're trying to work through on the golf course, is unconscious competence. Oh, my body just does this thing. I hope eventually that these conversations become literally just second nature, but I'm still actively working.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's really okay. It's okay that there's still ouches and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back it up. Where did you first start getting wounded by your beautiful wife?
We went for the weekend. We drove about an hour. We stayed with two of our best friends. We went out dancing. It was fun as hell.
Happy Pride, y'all.
Yeah, happy Pride. And so it was Lauren's like one of her busy work days. So as far as the facilitator, I was getting everything together, and then it was just a busy work week. So I ran the logistics between the baby, making sure that she had a place to go, or like trying to find her a place. She ended up coming with us. And connecting with J&J and doing all that. And then as far as all of like getting the house ready, did that. And then kind of just the lion's share of preparing for things, which is, I was happy to do it. I really was. The things that like ouched me were getting into your car and then the big one, and this isn't rational. When I say all these things, this is not rational. This is just what happens. So I'm going to say it unapologetically. The seat wasn't cleared off. And in my mind, I was like, oh, fuck, I have to do fucking everything. Also, we're about 30 minutes late and getting out of our thing. There was another thing I didn't tell you, babe, where you set your deadline of stopping and you didn't. So it's like I had to manage you as well. As far as like, babe, we got to go. One of my goals was like not to rush you. It's kind of always one of my goals because I don't want to put that stress on me and I don't want to put that stress on you. So it was another thing that I had to manage in my mind, in my irrational mind. I have to manage Lauren as well. Not only clear off her seat, manage Lauren. So it's like truly I'm doing this all on my own. And then what it does is it spirals to this is for her so she can work. Great. I don't see the benefits of her work. Meaning, still right now, I'm the primary breadwinner and I'm responsible for the majority of the household bills. So that spiraled on top of it where, like in relationship dynamics, one person sets the other person up for success so they can do this, but it goes to, and this is what I have to filter out, and this is what I need to work on, that it's all on me, that I have to do everything. And that's not accurate and that's not healthy. And it finally came out when we were ordering coffee. And you said very sweetly, can you get me like, an espresso? I'll give you a sexual favor. And then I said I'd rather have the money, which is not nice. But me staying quiet, I couldn't stay quiet any longer about it. And you picked it up immediately. And I apologized immediately, saying, like, that's not fair. And it's not nice of me to say, and I don't want to do those things. And then I think 24 hours later, we had the space. No, not even 24 hours, maybe like 5 or 6 hours later, once we got home, because we had to get on the road. You asked me, do you want to do a conversation? I go, I don't have the resiliency right now. And then once we got home, we had a little bit of separate time. We got settled, and then we had a talk. And then I got to share all these things. Another thing was that you and best friend M, you're planning a vacation together. Which, hear me, I want you to have vacations together. I want you to do those things. I truly do. In an unhealthy place, I go to, is Lauren ever going to plan a vacation for me? Is it always on me? And then it goes to, I don't feel well dated. I have to do irrational. This is not true. I do all the significant dating. I am the primary engine behind our trips. Logistically, financially, this is not true. There's truth to it, but this is not 100% true. So that's where my mind goes. And how did I handle it?
What do you mean? How did you handle it?
Like, how did I win all of this? Like, when I shared this with you, how did I share it with you?
Yeah, I think, can I share? I'm sure I can answer your question first. What I was going to ask is, can I share what was going on in my body, what I was observing, what I was feeling, and then talk about it? From the moment I mentioned possible vacation with best friend M, which was days earlier, trying to think where we were going. Oh, I think it might have been to the funeral. I think we were driving out to Appomattox for the funeral, is maybe when I mentioned it, because I remember where we were on the road. I don't remember the feeling I got from your body. And I thought, there's something there. And yeah, I thought, okay. But in our partnership, we don't do that. We don't say, are you okay? Is something wrong? We don't react like that. It's not your job to make me okay. And I so trust in your agency to bring things up if they need to be brought up, and not to not to spend unnecessary time doing that. So I definitely felt whatever the wounding right there, whether it was an uh-oh or a boo-boo or an ouch, whatever we want to call it. I felt the thing. And that was on like a Friday morning. Yep. And you're exactly right. It's plumb smack in the middle of my work week, which is very absorbing for my body. And then Saturday, shout out, I had one of the longest, bestest client days ever. And I could tell that something was there. And so I checked in, I want to say 3 or 4 times. Hey, babe, is there any way I can support you? How's your resiliency? We know that pre-care can sometimes be a zoom train for you. Because you wanted to go to the grocery store, you want to do these things. And I was like, they don't need to be done. Like, we could go, we could swing by the Whole Foods. Like, I tried to check in.
100%.
And I could feel whatever it was. And I'm just at the point where I'm like, I can't, neither one of us, it's not our jobs. It should not be your job either. Should I be in a space like this? And I just thought, okay, well, something's going on and don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out.
At that time, brutal honesty, it was fine. I was tired, but I wasn't resentful.
Yeah.
At the time, really, the resentfulness clicked over. It started where I had to almost mask it with you not honoring your, like, hey, I'm going to stop here.
Okay.
And then the car.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
Okay.
the front seat car thing.
You can't feel the buildup.
Brutal honesty. No, I mean, it wasn't there.
Because I felt it. Also, at some point on Saturday, I sat down and told you, like, that I was really feeling kind of fearful about the appointment on Monday night that you had scheduled for Holland and I. Uh-huh. And I saw something in your body there. And I said, checking in. Mm-hmm. And then when I came out after clients and I said, I've got to send these emails so that I can have a fun time. Yeah. I could feel stuff there. And I was like, we're still communicating. Like, because I communicated 6:30 and you were like, okay, 7. And we gave a big wink. Uh-huh. And I was like, okay. I could feel all these things in your body.
My resiliency was low, but as far as like,
okay,
kind of resentment building, it wasn't there yet.
Okay. And I think 2 truths can exist at once. So I think my experience was, something's gonna happen. Okay. And I'm gonna be on the receiving end. Don't know what it is. And then you could literally, the energy was palpable in the house. Holland walked in and was like, what's going on in here?
Holland was also 15 minutes early too.
Okay.
So I said to Holland, like, hey, 6:45. She shows up at 6:30. She's like, I'm going to be there at 6:30. I was like, 6:45.
Right.
She showed up at 6:30.
Yeah, and I was frantically typing client emails.
Yeah.
And then had the experience going on in my body is just terror. And I'm going to not cry here again, is like, I'm never going to be enough for all of these people, is what's going through my body, is that Why didn't you just cancel?
Why didn't you just say, hey, I can't do
because
this?
I so wanted to go.
Okay.
I so wanted to go.
Okay.
And we can continue to brainstorm, like, is it just better to take 2 cars? Is it just better to, and we'll get to this because I want to talk about the double sides of the coin, right? The beautiful things that make me this thing. Anyway. And so yeah, then that happens. Then I hear you, then I see you come in from the car with my 2 pieces of dry cleaning and my book that I'm reading actively for Hemlock Book Club. Shout out. I think that's all it was, those 3 things. Mm-hmm. It was 2 pieces of dry cleaning.
The stuff you needed to return.
Oh, and some returns.
Yep.
Which, middle of my work week, like, it just, if it doesn't get done on Monday, Tuesday, it doesn't happen because I am then in the zone. And so he comes in and you're just so obviously aggravated at, like, the things that you're bringing in, which typical Trey is just like, not. He's like, I'm going to bring this in. And I'm like, okay, baby, thank you so much. And then we just, like, go on with our things. But you were obviously agitated. And I thought, oh God, okay. I didn't know you were upset about the leaving time. You had a pleasant tone. You're always pleasant. It's like, you're just
for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, but then we get to our friends and the night was great. The Pride dance party was amazing. So I'm thinking, like, okay, maybe it's all just fine. Then the next day we're At a coffee shop, yeah. And we all were getting coffee. And I kind of leaned over to Trey and was like, hey, would you get me, like a tall coffee with oat milk? And then just to be playful, I was like, I'll pay you in sexual favors. Like just as a whisper in the ear. Then I get in response, I prefer the cash.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, holy shit. We found it. It's a money-related issue. And so that's when I was like, nope, I'll just get it.
It's a money-related issue. It's a taking care of the household-related issue. It's a logistics
It's the I'll do.
issue.
I have to. Is it all on me?
I
It's
have
it's
to
it's like
do
it's that core exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and thankfully, long-term partnership's cool because you're like, oh, okay, it's that wound. Like we know each other's wounds so well. So I was like, no, I got this one, and then came out to the outside where you were waiting. Like you took yourself immediately outside. Everyone was like, where's Trey? I was like, outside. Yeah, and you immediately owned up for that. You are not that person. Even when we're dealing with some wounding, you do not make harmful
I don't
cutting
want to talk
comments.
to you like that or
No.
like
Nope.
shots at you.
It's
I don't wanna
literally,
do that.
it's not even, you don't excuse it in your own body. So you immediately took accountability and you said that was inappropriate. And I kind of jokingly, did you hear me go, oh, it's about something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you knew.
Yeah. So then I kind of gave you some space, but then this is what was really cool in my body was I can tell some changes has happened because I was able to say, because I said, do you want to chat about it? And you said, I just don't have resiliency. And I said, okay. And so at first, right, the initial bodily response is to guard against the person who's just made like a snippy comment. And so we kind of walked separately for a while. And then something came over me where I was like, oh, why don't you ask him what he wants? Right? Because some of the root of this issue is this assumption, it's all on me. I have to do everything, right? Which it doesn't help anything if I just assume. So I walked over to you. Do you remember this? And I said, hey, babe, just checking in. What feels best in your body right now? Some distance, some space, just kind of be alone? Or would you like touches? Would you like handholds? And it was so beautiful to then watch you go, oh, touches would be really nice. And I thought, well, that's cool that we can obviously have some yet to be discussed thing. There's a thing that needs to be talked about, but that doesn't mean we need to break connection right now. And it was beautiful. I was like, oh, I can offer this. I don't know what's wounding him, but instead of going on the defensive, I actively chose something else. It was wild. It was like an out-of-body experience because I didn't want to. I'd just been snipped at. I didn't want to be close to you. But I was like, it doesn't harm me to be close, and it almost sounds good. It sounds beautiful to be in each other's energy. Like, I love you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, and then we came home and we all rode in the car together. Everyone took naps except you, the driver, and
We got to eat.
yeah,
We got food.
yeah. I offered to drive, and there is the dilemma that I work with a lot of partners on and that you and I will find is when one finds out they've done something wrong, the other often leans into overfunctioning.
Yeah.
Right. So I could tell you were feeling overutilized. But all I could do is what I could do. I could offer to drive. But if you wouldn't take me up on my offer, there was not much I could do about it because then forcing you to ride in the passenger seat is not exactly going to solve the problem. But I offered to go into Trader Joe's and get you a wrap, and you did accept that offer. And so I thought, okay, we'll just figure this out as we go. Yeah, and then when we got home, I think we both knew we needed some decompression time. And so I would say we decompressed individually for several hours. And then I was folding laundry and you came and found me. And yeah, I asked, that was the other cool thing is I said, hey, have you resourced again? Do you feel able to have this conversation now or you want to have it tomorrow? Old Lauren never. She never could have imagined being okay enough in self to say we can prolong this distance, this relational space, this relational blockage until tomorrow.
This one felt different because it never really felt great, but it never felt terrible or awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a great space that we were in. We weren't fully connected. We weren't, but it wasn't the opposite. We were completely disconnected. It was rather unique this time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've ever experienced that. Mm-hmm. Of like still touching, still being pleasant. Yeah, we're not hitting each other with big emotions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're not masking it.
No, in fact, I'm glad you said the snippy coffee comment because I think that was the thing where I thought, like, let's address this. There's something. There really is. And I had this overwhelming awareness of, I don't really want to heap more shit on top of whatever this is that we get to work through. This is us against this issue. And I don't really want to become reactive or defensive. I'm okay. I'm sure I have done something of which I will take accountability and ownership for, but until he has told me what it is, I don't need to waste energy trying to guess. Why are you smiling?
It's nice. It's a nice little talk.
Oh.
On a Wednesday morning. I gotta take the trash out. Shit.
I hope we don't miss it because we're podcasting later.
Yeah.
Do we need to pause really fast?
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
good. Let's roll the dice.
Oh, live wildly. What in your body, we can talk about the convo. Okay, yeah, let's talk about the convo. So then I'm folding laundry. I say, do you want to have this conversation tonight or tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Would you like some sleep first? And you said, no, I think I feel good to have it now. How was the conversation from your point of view? And what did you get to, how did it go?
I just got to share what I thought, and you got to hold space. And I got to share all the things that, I guess I'd been bottling. Like this, and this, and this, and this is how I feel, and I don't feel supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel that I did receiving the conversation or creating, being with you?
Well, yeah, you mostly listened. I think you maybe asked one or two questions, and then you said, I'm sorry. And then you jumped on top of me. Yeah.
Another thing came over me in this conversation, which was intention. Lack of intention doesn't negate harm. I love you more than anything on this earth. And I didn't intend for any of these things that I did to harm you. But that doesn't negate the fact that I did. And I just had this overwhelming sensation of, what does it mean to be a loving and safe container and partner to him to receive this hurt? He wants to share some hurt with you. What does it look like to be a safe space for that?
Yeah.
And what if you listened with curiosity? What if you listened as a person who wasn't the offender? What if you listened as a person who's just hearing what Trey went through? And that was a crazy experience because I took myself out of the role of the person who'd done these things. And I was able to 100% see, oh my goodness, ouch. And it was really cool. I don't know what that technique is called, but it was really cool. I almost put myself, I pretended if I was in my chair in my office and a couple was sitting on the other couch. And if they were talking, I would be taking this really neutral stance of getting curious about the thing that happened. And so I tried to pretend I was in my chair. Cool. It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, I totally felt you were present. I didn't feel like I was being therapized.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was getting sex educated. I wasn't getting hit with a bunch of questions. That's happened before, not with you, but
interesting.
Somebody else where it's wait a minute, why are you asking me so many fucking questions? Where it's it almost makes me defensive.
Yeah, psychoanalyzed almost in the moment.
Correct.
Oh, goodness.
And then it gets read as oh, this is are you building a case against me? Mm-hmm. Versus just listening. Because how many times have I fucking said it? This is coming from an unhealthy place. So irrationality really gets baked in a lot faster if you're coming from an unhealthy place, maybe a much more subjective place versus objective place.
Yeah.
Because I need to say it again. I want you to go on a vacation with best friend M. That sounds awesome. I actually like it because you guys get to spend quality time together. I get the house together. There's space for us to miss each other. I think that is actually a sound investment. The unhealthy place is, why doesn't she date me like that? Which you do.
I had to keep listening so hard, and you did such a good job this time of continually saying, this is irrational, and may I share? That, and I just kept holding on to, okay, Lauren, when somebody says that, they just want a safe place to share. They don't need, don't let this, I kind of did this like internal, oh, it's what our awesome human design person, like the imaginary trash can. Like I was trying to like hear it and put it over here.
Yeah.
This isn't about you. What he's trying to say is, this is how I feel. Yeah. Can you listen to how I feel? And I was like, whoa. It was just really wild because earlier, literally just months ago, that would have been really harmful to hear. Like, you don't date me, you don't, right? I could have felt very accused. And instead I just chose not to because I was like, I think he just wants to share his feelings.
Also, my verbiage, I don't say you don't date me.
You kept saying, I feel.
I don't feel like I'm dated well.
Yeah. And this,
I don't feel like I'm taken care of like I take care of you.
right. That would be very easy for my body to interpret and then say, what the fuck do you mean? Right? Like I do. That this is where we go usually, human beings. And I just thought, I don't know. What if you don't do that? What if you just listen and don't absorb this as old Lauren would have said, these are all the ways in which you're failing. How could you ever let this incredible human feel this way? And I chose to say, yeah, except that's ego and this isn't about you. This is about him. And what if you just allow your heart to hurt for him in this experience that he's going through and offer love and compassion and curiosity and interest? And wow. Yeah, I felt fine. Like it really felt, the whole thing kind of felt fine. I never, yes, I agree with you. I could feel the buildup. I could feel the bottling of the things, even if you couldn't, and that's fine. I think we're both so empathetic that we feel each other's things sometimes before the other one can. I even think our coach has said that before. Remember, she said, sometimes you're going to feel each other's thing first.
Yeah. You can feel my thing faster than I can or faster than I like to admit.
And I forgot about that. She said in those moments to offer a token.
A token?
Do you remember this? We had a whole conversation, especially about your ability to pre-care, like the prep, the logistics.
It's a superpower.
It is a superpower. And this is a perfect time to talk about this. I wanted to talk about our superpowers that are also our greatest weaknesses. Because I think you and I both have them, and they're the same, they're double-sided coin.
Yeah, because if I really output as much as I can with my superpower, I feel like my default is, what are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Which is like, wait a minute.
It's okay, we
wait
all
a
have
fucking
it.
minute. This, especially if we haven't discussed it. Wait a minute. Okay, can we transition to resolution? Like how we're resolving it.
Yeah, but really fast before we get to that, Emily Nagoski's new book, Come Together. Woo. She's the one teaching me all about appreciation and how beautiful it is. And you said the other day that I came to the screen door and I was like, babe, I just want you to know how much I appreciate.
That was before all this too.
This
and
was
it really
in the middle of it.
It really warmed my heart because all of this work, this like 2 days worth of work prepping our house so we don't have to do it on Sunday. It was very fucking appreciated that you actually said those words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That you acknowledged my effort. Thank you.
If you could guess what day that was, what day would you think it was?
I think it was the day of.
So I think what's so interesting about this, right, and I'm so glad we're talking about this in real time, is that I think it would be easy to assume, oh, there was no pleasantries exchanged between this partnership. No, I had been, or that I was doing nothing. I had been up since 6 a.m. weeding outside on my path while listening to modules that I am trying to release on this national platform, worldwide platform, while prepping for my clients and listening to an audiobook for Hemlock, but then also noticing about appreciation. It's not like I'm over here twiddling my thumbs and eating bonbons. And so it's important for me to remind myself of that. He is feeling these feelings. It doesn't mean that you need to work harder. My brain immediately goes to work harder, Lauren, work harder. But that double-edged sword, or it's two sides to the coin, I think your superpower is you can logisticize brilliantly and you can get everything ready for anything. You did it professionally for a long time, and you could professionally prepare our home for all things beautifully. And it can lead to burnout and frustration with those around you. And also when it hasn't been requested, it's a scary place for the person on the other side. And same thing here. I think the beautiful part of me that can envision anything as possible, that can build businesses, that can sit with people and think outside the box and craft these like pathways to new forms of partnership, help get to the real matter of things, is the same part of me that thinks I can bend time, that thinks that all things are possible on one day and stresses people out around me because I live in some fairy tale world. Same thing. I mean, it is beautiful and it is also really scary.
Yeah.
And we all have them. And Emily Nagoski talks about it in this book of, they come with choosing a person to hang out with, to spend your life with, whatever you're choosing. And to shit on it is to tear them down. She was talking about how she loves writing books. She's a really good book writer because she has this ability to hyper focus. She can like zoom, go in the zone, but it's the same part of her that literally will at times not hear her husband. Like she won't even hear him. He's taken to the way they found to like navigate out of this is he says a bunch of like literal like ridiculousness until she's paying attention. Like, I wonder if Papa John's would ever put like ice cream on their pizza as a pizza topping. And he'll go and go and go with like random shit until she finally pays attention. And sometimes he'll be like, you know how long that was? She's like, no. It's like, it was like 4 minutes of just random stuff that you couldn't even hear. But to be a writer, to have that diligence and the ability to focus is a gift. And her books have changed the lives of millions. It's just the double side of the coin, right? And she talks about how they work, you know, it's not right to just hurt your person forever. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks for seeing both sides of my coin. And I see yours too.
You got really nice coins, honey.
Mm-hmm.
You got a real
you.
beautiful set of coins. Polar bear. Ice cream on pizza. I'd call it the polar bear.
That's really good. Would the pizza be cold too?
Mm-mm.
So like, it's almost like you would serve it table side. Like you would serve the pizza and then you would bring it out and you'd scoop. It could be like a cheese ice cream too. Like it could be like a savory ice cream.
Oh, like a ricotta or something
Yes.
like that? Like a cold ricotta? Oh, yeah. Okay, then it wouldn't be American slop.
No.
It would
like
be
refined and they could be like tiny little
international.
scoops.
Great. Yeah.
Almost like when people do like a really nice margarita pizza and it has like the wedges of mozzarella, like fresh mozzarella there on top. Imagine that with like little frozen ricotta scoops.
Sweet.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
What did you want to talk about?
Resolution.
Okay.
How are we resolving this? How did we resolve it in real time?
Mm-hmm.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Actually saying it, declaring it out loud, and not having it inside and kind of declaring it, that makes me feel better immediately, like it being received. How is it for you to receive that?
Great.
Okay.
I thought, you know what? What if instead of going to defensiveness or fear, or we had that beautiful talk on here, again, shout out to our coach, about what does money mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I said worth.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't think he's attacking your worth. Lauren, you've got to go there. I don't think he's attacking your worth. Okay. what if you go to transparency instead? Because I'm not hiding anything. I am so proud of this business I'm building, like so proud, and I am doing it. It is my goal to not go into any debt with building this business. I am proud of it. And is it making me millions right now? No, but I am proud of it, and I am fully transparent. I am transparent with my clients on ways that I charge, things that I do, and I want to be transparent with you too. I don't have anything to hide. And so I thought in that moment, yeah, why don't you show him things tomorrow? I think you had said, like, could we have a money conversation? Yeah. And so I knew I wanted to bring it up. And you're always so sweet of like, we could do this later, anytime. And I thought, no, the healthy way to do this is to bring it up tomorrow because that's your day off. I don't have other days to do it. Like, once I'm in the go and flow of work, I prefer to stay there. I prefer to really focus on work. And yeah, so I thought bring that up again tomorrow. And so I did. And I initiated that and asked if you had capacity to do it. And we sat at a little kitchen table and had a pretty transparent money talk, which felt fine to me. How did it feel to you?
Good.
Yeah.
Like it was just wonderful to get to ask you questions about your business. Can we do this? Can we do the same thing where it's you get to ask me questions about my income, business? I'd love to schedule it on Sunday. And then can we do like just lay out our expenses, say our shared expenses or household expenses, and see how we want to move forward with those in the future? Yeah, like an objective where we're at. It's almost like an inventory talk versus anything else attached to it.
Sure.
Versus I do all this, you do all this. Yeah. So not a negative thing, but more of just like hey, this is where it's at. Because I'd love to show you my numbers as far as on the year and projections. How would that feel for you?
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
I think every time we go in and do these, we realize how much more aligned than we think we are. Yeah. So.
And you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Like you're doing very well as far as you started a business that's focused on helping other people. And then you're receiving a monetary equivalent for that. And it's wonderful. I'm really fucking proud of you. I see how hard you work, honey. Thank you. And I keep hearing that you really love it.
Yeah.
And that makes me very happy that you're doing something, you work for yourself, that you love, that is a net positive for the people that choose to work with you.
I really love it. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is, I feel absolutely aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. I truly do. And it wouldn't be possible without your support and my entire family and network's support. So I do not think that we operate in isolation. And yeah, would be happy to do that. I think what was interesting too is that having the conversation over a 2-day period, right? Not saying, okay, well, that's done. Let's sweep that onto the rug. Let's avoid the second part, the third part of the conversation. Felt so good to me. And yeah, like necessary good. What you and I have said for evers is that when we can have those conversations, they then not only open the heart, they open the body. So do we want to close this podcast out talking about the intimacy that we shared that very same Monday night?
Yeah.
Because I think it's connected.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have had sex like that with a person who was accusing me of things and who was doubting my commitment to this family and thought that I was being selfish with my time and not respectful of other people and mooching off him for finances. No, right? I could have that kind of sex with someone who truly valued me and who found me desirable. all of those things that I could have taken from our conversation would make me undesirable.
I couldn't have had that type of sex with someone that I was holding these feelings back from not sharing. And all those things you just listed, those are not my feelings. Mm-hmm. But how I feel, I got to share with you. And it was out, and there was resolution.
Could you have had that kind of sex with someone who you were kind of afraid to talk to?
No, not that type of sex. No.
Yeah, who you were kind of a little resentful towards because, she just has no clue of how much you do.
Yeah, I felt underappreciated.
Yeah.
No, it would have felt like just more taking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is why sex isn't everything. It's just a part of everything.
Yeah, it's a big part of everything.
Uh-huh.
It's a big part of the polar bear.
And it's why I think that it's such a reflection of the health and well-being of our relationships to self and to other. And that I think it's a backwards approach to be like, oh, let's fix your sex. It's like, sex is just, we've said this all the time, intercourse. It is a communication. It is a reflection of the state of what's going on here. And that's why casual sex is great, because you don't have to know all of these things, or you don't have to unload and load the dishwasher with the casual sex partner. You don't have to get entwined in their finances. So listen.
You get to leave.
Yes.
Casual sex is so fun because then you get to leave.
Good for you. If you are a subscriber to this podcast and you get to enjoy casual sex, we celebrate you. It is wonderful. Mm-hmm. Long-term partnered sex is wow. Like, whoa. But now let's talk about how great the sex was.
Okay, so it was like I came into the room. You were naked.
I don't ever do this.
Never. And I was like, babe, I was in full-blown shower mode.
Full-blown.
I had played. I stunk. I go, babe, I have to take a shower. And you're like, are you sure you have to take a shower? Then I think we did like one kiss.
I said, maybe you just like, can I just taste your sweat or something? I was like, just climb on top of me or something. And then you can go shower.
And then it was just some movie shit after that. And it was just some wild animalistic. You smelled so good. You were full of sweat too.
We were both sweaty.
You had like a sweaty body, but find yourself a partner. This is how you know where you like how they stink.
Yeah. Same.
Like if you like how they stink and it turns you on, where it's like, that's welcoming. That's kind of, yeah, that's some hardwired human shit right there. So yeah, they were just,
I mean, it
fuck
was
the
like
shit out of each other for a good 20
pushing
minutes.
things off the bed, things flying.
A lot of hair pulling, a lot of slapping, a lot of grabbing. It was great.
A lot of like flipping bodies over.
It was asteroids going to hit Earth.
Yeah.
You got an hour. It's like, what are you doing for an hour? It was that type of sex. It was great.
It was what? It was like.
And it happened because we had a lot of wholehearted conversations. And then we were nice to each other while we did it. Yeah, you don't fix the sex. You fix everything else. And then the sex follows. Cool.
It was like stuff that I couldn't stop thinking about the next day. Distracting sex.
Oh, yeah. All I wanted to do was like get on top of you all day.
Like we were looking at each other.
I was very thirsty for you all day.
It was like we couldn't be in the same space type of thing because it was distracting.
It was like if you fucked a coworker at a convention and it was like really good, and then you have to walk around the convention and be all professional, but really what you want to do is pull her panties down or his panties down or, you know.
Push them up against a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a dick in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we watched this new show that we've started getting into called Hacks. That was awesome. Then we had sex again.
Oh, we had to. Yeah, it was like the first time
at
we
like
met.
midnight.
Yeah,
which is so not a nice thing.
It was like the first night we met where it's like, let's just do it one more time. Yeah, it was great. We're a couple of very slutty people, and we get to be slutty with each other. It's so fun.
I
wouldn't really have it anywhere else, and That's why you have my last name, honey. You're a giant slut.
That's not why I have your last name. I have your last name because I didn't want my first married name and I didn't want my maiden name, and it was just really convenient.
Hey, two truths can be the truth at the same time.
Okay, we'll wrap up this podcast, me and my crazy bangs. And yeah, thanks for talking about this with me. I really thought, yeah, it was interesting, and I was journaling about it yesterday morning, like what made that really great sex, and I thought, I think our difficult conversation made the really good sex. He's on his phone, so I'm just going to wrap up this podcast. Thanks for coming to this episode of the Partnership Podcast with Lauren and Trey. Trey's really engaged. Remember, take what you like, leave the rest. And we're glad you came. You have a right to informed decision making. These are our opinions, and only that. We encourage you to form your own opinions. And yeah, if you're looking to work with a sexuality educator, it's fun. Emily Nagoski talks about this in her book, Come Together, the difference between therapists and someone like a sexuality educator or a coach. I would love to work with you. I really would. It is my deepest joy, and I love working with partners. I also love working with individuals who are like, you know what? They're not the problem. I'm the problem. I need to figure out my shit. I'd love to work with you. You can go to sexedforyou.com/free consult. And we can chat about what's going on in your life and if we'd be a good fit. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I was looking at my Dynasty Fantasy Football game.
You know what? Distraction.